Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. That means we got AEW Rampage. We got several things that are taking place in this match. Our main event features the Gates of Agony taking on the BCC. As you know, the war between, of course, last time when Swerve Strickland taking on Bryan Danielson for the number one contendership. Well, looks like it escalated into a war between two groups. But who of the strongest will walk out? We just gotta wait and see. We also got Trent Beretta taking on Jay White and a few other matches taking place as well. But also, who's going to level up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? We're just going to have to find out. But first things first, we're going to be doing some much recent events. The first one is coming from Stardom. This is from their October 8th show, one day before the Nagoya show, the Nagoya Golden Fight Week. It features much of like an outpost before that. So we have some interesting matches that leads to that. And then of course we move on with GCW with their much recent show, the World on GCW in Korakuen Hall. The GCW World title is on the line. We even got the GCW Tag Team titles on the line. And of course a couple of death matches, but the one that definitely people are looking forward to it is Jun Kasai taking on Joey Janela. And then of course we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course any wrestlers who are either signed or departing from the respective promotions, any injured wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of daily reviews on pro wrestling from various different shows, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where wrestling is not big, but it is growing. And of course, we do some discussion videos, more news updates, what's been going on, some news updates alert to keep everybody's toes, what's been going on in real time in pro wrestling, and various other things. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. On the subscribe button, you'll be getting daily reviews almost every day. And of course, if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or give us a nice comment down below. So let's get started with our very first review. Our first review is from Stardom. Now this is from the October 8th show, and I believe this was in Tajimi Gifu. This is a day before the Nagoya show. Now, there's 5 matches involved in this one, so these are more like previews or outpost matches before the Nagoya show for the Nagoya Golden Fight Week that took place. So we all know the results, but even though we haven't reviewed these matches yet. But let's get started. Our first match, we have a 3-way match. We have Mega Bane versus Koguma versus Tekla. Now, I know the biggest common threat in this match is Megan Bane. You probably would think that Koguma and Tekla would try to work together despite the fact that they don't like each other, they're from different factions. Well, that would have worked, but however, do not underestimate Megan Bane's strength and ability. So basically what happens, Megan Bane did pick up the win when she applied the F5 on Tekla, giving her the win. Our next match, we have tag team action. We got Queen's Quest consistent of Miyu Amasaki and Lady C taking on Mei Sita and Zu Suzuki. So you probably would have assumed this was going to be a very interesting matchup. As you know, Mei Sita, it will be in a title match against Saki Kashima. This will be a good warm-up for her. And don't forget, Zuzu will be in a title match as well But however, it was Mei Sita who actually picked up the win when she applied the Rolling Star on Amasaki. But of course, at the post match, they were telling both Sita and Suzuki were telling them they should kiss their butts because they actually won. I'm sure that they're not happy with the way how things went for Queen's Quest. Didn't do so well, but they'll learn from their mistakes. Our next match, we have a very interesting one. Hanako teaming up with Mina Shirakawa. So that kind of was a very interesting match. They take on of course, the consistent of Cosmic Angels, Yuna Mizumori, and of course, Tam Nakano. As you know, Sayonoi, who was not booked, Natsupoi will be out for a while due to a very delicate injury, but she'll be back hopefully soon. But you probably would guess that there's still some animosity between Mina and Tam. Of course, there probably will be, but they did not hold any punches. However, the X factor is, of course, is Yuna, who is still, new to the game. Same thing with Hanako. That would have been an X factor on both sides. But however, it was Tam Nakano with the Tiger Suplex on Hanako that picked up the win, giving Tam Nakano a very good momentum before jumping in with her big match on the main event at Nagoya Golden Fight Week, where she faces Natsuko Tora. But we all know the results of that match. Tam Nakano won it. Next match, we have DDM consistent of Maika, Mai Sakurai, and Julia taking on Star members Hanan, Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, keep in mind, Maika, who will be on the opposite side from Julia, and Mai Sakurai will be working together in this match. So that plays out in a pretty good way. What does this mean for Stars? Well, it doesn't mean nothing. But however, of course, the work continues between both. DDM has been very, very well. However, in the end, it was in fact Maika with the Enka Otashi onto Hanan to pick up the win. But however, Maika has one goal in mind in her career, is to pick up a pin on Julia. That would put her in the conversation, hopefully for a future title shot, maybe for the New Japan or the IWGP or the Red Belt, however she wants to pursue it. And of course, Julia doesn't believe that she'll actually pull it off, but we'll see what happens until then. But we all know what happened, the results. Things did not go well for Maika. Things resulted in explosion between Zuzu. Many people are now predicting that maybe Maika could betray Julia, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, in main event, we have Oedo Tai consistent of Ruka, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora taking on the ladies of Gadzai, Suri, Saki Kashima, and Mirai. So basically, this is a warm-up. Now, keep in mind, Momo Watanabe will be facing Mirai for the white belt, a belt that, of course, we all know Momo has made it very prestigious prior before her time and before she ever became Oedo Tai. But of course, I would have presumed down the line she would have proceeded for the red belt, but it didn't go in that direction. But unfortunately, it was, of course, the Hito Denashi that allowed her to win this match onto Saki Kashima. However, she will be getting that white belt. We all know the results of what happened with the white belt. Apparently, she did not win. As for Natsuko Tora, you all know she was already in a title match against Tam Nakano. That did not go well for her either. So we'll see what happens next after this. So we already finally catched up with all of Stardom shows. As we speak, before this episode is released, the recent Stardom show is taking place. But of course, soon we'll begin Tag League, which is going to be awesome. So for right now, let's move on to our next review, which is GCW's The World and GCW in Korakuen Hall. Okay, The World on GCW. This was in Korakuen Hall on the 12th of October. So right now it should be October 13th from my calendar, what it says here. Now it opened up with a very interesting six-person tag match. We have Bussy consisting of Ali Catch and Effie teaming up with the cutest in the world, Maki Ito, taking on Kikutaro. So there's basically a lot of Kikutaros. However, one of the commentators, they talked to Kikutaro saying there's a lot of Kikutaros. So it was kind of hard to tell who it was. However, at some point of the match, when of course two of the Kikutaros have been unmasked. The first one is none other than Jimmy Lloyd, and then the second one was Abdullah Kobayashi, who actually was involved. I don't know how that happened, but however, all three of the participants with Bushi and Maki Ito took out the real Kikutaro with triple Kokeshi, with Effie giving him a Kokeshi in the groin, and blammo, they win their match. Our next match we have is, of course, the GCW World Tag Team Championship. Those Macizos, who have already been 3 times, will be facing, of course, the champions, Sasaki and Sugiura, who got those belts from the East West Express. However, the obvious question does tell in this match: will, of course, Los Macizos become 4-time tag team champion? Well, they went through hell and back to get those belts, and that's exactly what they did. They pick up a good win when, of course, Miedo Extremo applied a German suplex on Sasaki to pick up the win and become 4-time World Tag Team Champions. So that's pretty good on their record. Our next match, we have a bit of a 4-way match. We have John Wayne Murdoch, Toshiyuki Sakuda versus Violento Jack versus Masashi Takeda. Now, as you may have known on this one, Sakuda is a very, very sick individual. He likes to put pointy stuff right here that wants to make you turn away and not see. Well, that went up that way. But however, it was the pile driver by John Wayne Murdoch to pick up the win against Sakuda to pick up the win. During the post match, of course, what's his name? Takeda tried to shake his hands, but instead he gave him the bird and walked away. Next match, we all know this was going to be a high-flying spot type of match. Gringo Loco versus Hijo del Vikingo. So you probably would have assumed you'll be holy shit the entire time. Yes, it did. It was one of those moments where you see actual Lucha Libre style matches. If you're a big fan of that, then you know what I'm talking about. But in the end, of course, it was the 630 by Hijo del Vikingo to pick up the win. Our next match, this is one of the title matches, the GCW World Title. Blake Christian takes on Jordan Oliver. I have to say, Jordan Oliver put up a hell of a match in this match, but however, Blake Christian would do whatever it takes to ensure that this belt stays in the same. He even took out 2 referees to ensure this belt remains. He even tried various ways to ensure that this belt. However, Jordan Oliver was very close on very moments of this match, but unfortunately, it was Blake Christian with the stomp to pick up the win. So the one thing and the other is, who will be the one to dethrone him? That is the obvious question. We'll just have to wait and see when that day comes. Now, our next match, we have a death match. We have the legend. Joey Janela faces the legend, Jun Kasai. You know this is going to be a bloody murder type match where there are going to be a lot of fuckery involved. You know Jun Kasai is a legend in the deathmatch scene. Joey Janela, well, he is a deathmatch wrestler in his own right. But how will that play out? Well, anything is a possibility. But however, it was, of course, Jun Kasai with a pile driver on some light tubes onto Joey Janela's head to pick up the win. So, just like that, it was over. Now, our main event is the GCW Ultra Violent Championship. Masha Slamovich, as the challenger, faces against the current champion, Rina Yamashita. Now, you know, like I said earlier, there was going to be a lot of fuckery involved in this. A lot of plunder. You know, light tubes, chairs, tables, whatever they can get their hands on. Everything that they tried. I'm sure that was be enough. But however, near the end of this match, of course, it did show Rina Yamashita was attempting to use the splash mount to put away Masha Slamovich, but however, she decided to do another one, but this time with the help of some light tubes to put Masha Slamovich away and pick up the win just like that. So, Rina Yamashita retained the title and it was over. However, we will see what happens in the next show. As you know, the next show in GCW will be in LA for New Blood, so I'm looking forward to that. But for now, let's move on to our next review, and I believe that is AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. It opened up with a six-man tag team match. We have the Hardys, Matt and Jeff, teaming up with Brother Zay to take on what was formerly of the Jericho Appreciation Society members. We have Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic Mad Bernard, and Cool Hands Angelo Parker. Now, you probably would have assumed that the Hardys and Brother Zay would have walked out with the victory. However, as you know, the former members of the JSA are trying to the JAS are trying to reestablish themselves to put themselves back on the map in their winning ways. However, as you know, Daniel Garcia continues to dance, but one person finds it very irritating, and that is none other than Matt Menard. But however, it was Daniel Garcia who picked up the win when he pinned Brother Zay. But it seems that, of course, Matt Menard was not feeling it. But of course, the only thing that matters is for Hagar, who is not playing the leader, but trying to make realization. Look, we won the match. It's over, just like that. Just squash the matter. But of course, Menard is not having it. Basically, he feels that Garcia should stop doing what he's doing. But who knows what's going to happen? Even it was the same thing in the interview. So basically, we'll see what happens with those guys. Now, Penta and Ceremia was attempting to, of course, to give the updated what's been going on with his brother Ray Phoenix after what happened. Unfortunately, he was interrupted by, of course, an opponent that Penta will be facing, Jay White. Jay White is going out of his way saying that, he and his brother got 0 belts. But however, he goes out of his way and tells him, you stole that belt. But they don't want people to say that because they say Jay White wants to go out and proclaim that he is the rightful champion, that he is the actual AEW World Champion. But of course, Penta said that he's never faced a guy like him before, so he's going to know what Cero Miedo is all about. Now, our next match, we have Jay Lethal along with the Dickwads getting involved. Of course, they face against one half of the Best Friends, Trent Beretta. I have to say this was a pretty good match. It did show a lot of character with Trent Beretta. He was doing like never say die type of attitude. But of course, the X factor of this is the Dickwads. I'm talking about Sanjay Dutt, who talks too much. Jeff Jarrett, who's always saying that he knows what pro wrestling is all about. Karen Jarrett, who never shuts the hell up. And of course, the Dumb Brood, Satnam Singh. But unfortunately, it was, of course, the lethal injection by Jay Lethal to pick up the win against Trent Beretta. But of course, this was only a beginning. Don't forget, Jay Lethal has one goal in mind. He is sick and felt disgusted that a guy like Eddie Kingston has the Ring of Honor World Championship. I'm sure he will try to find a way to get that belt off of him, saying that he just defiled it. But of course, Eddie Kingston's not going to tolerate his BS. So we'll see when that happens. Now, as you know, things have been going a very interesting story. Santana refuses to talk to Ortiz, about what's going on. Even he confronted him. So basically, both former tag partners confronted each other. But sooner or later, they will have to see each other in the ring, whether Santana likes it or not. I'm sure Ortiz is down with it, or Santana, well, he looks more like not sure about it. But we'll see what that leads to. Our next match, we have Emi Sakura taking on Sky Blue. Now, Sky Blue, as you know, has changed a little bit of her smiley attitude since, got missed by Julia Hart. But you probably would have assumed that Sky Blue would have been taken into a different level by Emi Sakura. Of course, Emi Sakura tried to put her away in every way possible in order to win this match. But however, it was the Code Blue that allowed her to pick up a good win. So, as you know, it was later resulted because of this win. She'll face Chris Statlander in Collision. So we'll see what happens till then. Now, our main event is the Gates of Agony. Bishop Khan and Tail Leona, along with that moron and silly little weasel, Prince Nana, taking on the BCC, Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli. Now, I knew from the very beginning from this match that Nana was going to try to get involved, but later he was ran out of town by Claudio Castagnoli. But the one thing that was interesting about this match is Wheeler Yuta showing the will that he's willing to continue fighting no matter the odds. He knows he's outnumbered. He knows that these guys are strong and fast, and he shows a lot of no fear, show he has a lot of guts. However, the Gates of Agony were almost close, by applying the open the gates, but fortunately Claudio Castagnoli did save the Yuta from that. But unfortunately, it was Bishop Khan who suffered the fate with the fastball special by Yuta. 1, 2, 3, it's over. So hopefully this war between these two teams, it's over from there. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for AEW Rampage. Let's move on with NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on his latest episode of NXT Level Up? Let's find out. Our first match, we have the ladies taking the action. We have Ivy Nile taking on Kia Saint. And now it's been a while since I've seen Kia Saint. Very interesting athletic wrestler. But you probably would guess in this match, as you know, Ivy Nile is desperately trying to get back in her winning ways. I have to say this did help her. However, of course, Ivy Nile had to pull up some things in order to pick up the win. But luckily, she was able to pull it up when she applied none other than the Dragon Sleeper. That's always been one of her effective moves to pick up the win. And of course, Saint had no other choice but to tap, and it was over. By the end of the match, of course, Ivy now shows some respect to, of course, the Kia Saint, who has shown that she was willing to hang with people like her. So we'll see what Saint can do in the future in NXT. But for now, we'll continue to see her more on NXT Level Up. Now, Kelly conducted an interview with Axiom. Now, as you know, Axiom has currently now, as you know, been in a, how do I say this? He is now trying to deal with the fallback about not winning the Global Heritage Invitational. However, that did help him to sharpen his skills. However, he'll be excuse me. He'll be facing a wrestler who is almost as fast as him, Riley Osborne. Of course, Riley has been impressive in his first two matches. The first one he won, second one he lost. But the obvious question is, how will he do with Axiom? Let's find out. Now, this was our main event of the show, Axiom versus Riley Osborne. I have to say, this was a pretty good match. Now, I have to say, Riley Osborne really impressed me. So Axiom tried to calculate how to put him away. There was a moment where, of course, Riley was about to take him out outside the ring, but it was like a bit of a thrust kick by Axiom to pick up the win. But Axiom was able to get back in the ring in order of the count, but somehow Riley Osborne was able to get back. Then the frog splash, but there was a moment where people might have thought there was a botch. However, the ref actually noted if you look in the video, the ref hit the 3 count while Riley actually did the kicked out. But unfortunately, the match went into, of course, into Axiom. However, I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a rematch between those two somewhere down the line. I'm sure many people say that. Even the commentators mentioned probably there will be a rematch between those two. Obvious question is when? Well, we don't know. But for now, we'll just move on with our final thing, and that is news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far. Now, it's been a while since we haven't heard from Saya Kamitani since she was injured at the start of the 5-star Grand Prix early back in August or September. Now, if you guys remember what happened to her, she was in a high position, tried to land on Tam Nakano, but unfortunately she injured by dislocating her elbow. Now, we haven't heard much about her since then, but apparently she just broke her silence, and this is what she had to say, and this is from Tokyo Sports, just to put this out for everyone. Honestly, I'm scared to fly again. However, I've been doing a lot of studying during my rest. I want everyone to watch how the Phoenix with a broken wing will come back. Now, last time Kamitani was afraid to fly was last year when she botched her Phoenix Splash move onto Mina Shirakawa. So during that time, we asked ourselves, what was Kamitani doing? Basically, she did 3 botches on those. The third one was the result of Mina Shirakawa, in fact, getting injured. And now, in the results, Kamitani this time injured herself. So, does this mean she will not be doing her usual high flying, reckless moves? Well, we don't know. We know there's been people saying how reckless she can be when it comes to doing moves like that, but we don't know. But she said that she is determined to come back. We just don't know when or where. Many people may think maybe at the start of 2024 or by the end of this year in December. We just don't know yet. But we are determined to find out sooner or later. Now, interesting developments. This was a report coming from Wrestling Observer. As you know, there's been a lot of talks with about possible CM Punk returning to WWE. However, they're saying from Wrestling Observer that the feud between WWE and CM Punk is currently dead for now. Basically, looks like whatever feud they had in the past, it basically will not be mentioned or talked about again. Maybe they want really Punk to come back and see how they work. However, it was Vince McMahon who made the final decision before he left that he did not want Punk back. But since, however, he is no longer in charge, we don't know what's going to happen then. There's talk that maybe the possibility that Vince could come try to take control at some certain capacity, but we just don't know yet. Now, as you know, this past Tuesday, with of course NXT had Cody Rhodes as a special guest GM. Well, it's now been confirmed now from WWE that Cody will be making his return back with NXT this coming Tuesday. I'm sure many of us are kind of excited to see what he's going to do. Now, finally, as you may or may not have been aware of, next week on Rampage on AEW, we're going to see Mystico. You may remember him as the original Sin Caras in WWE. Apparently, he will be facing, of course, Rocky Romero in AEW Rampage. Now, some people were questioning, does this mean that AEW and AAA are no longer in working relationship? They are in working in some capacity as well. Same thing with CML. Apparently, there's been talks between both companies about this. Just put this on record. AEW are willing to work with anybody. If you guys remember, they had Keiji Muto from Pro Wrestling Noah appear. They even AEW allowed Pro Wrestling Noah to have Sting and Darby Allin on Great Muta's final match. So I mean, why not? The way I see it, Tony Khan is willing to work with any promotion. It doesn't matter where or when. But I'd say seeing Mystico is going to be great. Many of you guys aren't familiar with him, so you should check him out. And I think that's pretty much it with our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Collision taking place. There is the latest Choco Pro show as well. But I did mention as we speak, there is a Stardom show that took place. I don't know when I'll be seeing it, but hopefully I will see it soon enough. There's still some wrestling shows I haven't seen yet. The much recent Got to Move show featuring the Masahiro Takanashi 20th anniversary, Warrior Wrestling, and a few, I don't know what else I have missed. But we'll find out soon enough. But I'll just wing it until then. But for now, we'll just leave things as it is. And I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.